Hello, everyone. Welcome to Global Leadership Interview Series, How to Create a Life Worth Living. My name is Evrim Numanoğlu Özgen. I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO at Institute of Global Leadership, an organization providing leadership classes, programs for adults. Today, in this interview, I have a very special guest, Candace Sjogren. Candace is an inspiration for me and so many women, and especially mothers. You will hear why. And well, I want to start. Well, first of all, Candace is so many things. So she is a mother, as you have heard, and she is the owner and the CEO at BBA, Boston Breakthrough Academy. She is a transformational coach and trainer. And I'm not even listing other things, Candace, maybe you want to mention. And she's also one of my mentors. She has been also one of my mentors in this transformational leadership journey. And I want to start with what motivated you to do the leadership program that we are all offering, Candace? What was the inspiration?
Well, first, Evrim, thank you so much for having me on your interview series. And you are also a mentor of mine. So the beauty of being in leadership is that we get to coach each other. And so Evrim is a peer coach of mine, and I look up to her in so many ways. So this is very exciting for me. And I'm so honored that you and I get to be in this work together, the work of transformation, the work of emotional intelligence, leadership, because not only do I look up to you as a woman, the fact that we're both moms is really special to me because we are making it all work. So we're both living into the both and of being a powerful and great mom, of being an effective and loving wife, of being an executive, and of making it all happen. So I admire and acknowledge you for that. And yeah, regarding the question of how did I get into the work of transformation, I was really stuck. I was feeling really stuck. So prior to launching BBA, I was an attorney, I still am, a finance attorney, and I was working in the payment space in San Francisco. And I was working easily 15 to 18-hour days consistently, 6 days a week. My husband and I had been married for 3 years, and we'd been trying to get pregnant for a really long time. And we had done IVF and had miscarriages. And I remember I'm in sales in the job that I have as my day job. It's my day job. And I was like on airplanes giving myself shots for IVF in the middle of the night on red-eye flights. And I thought, and I was getting the time zones mixed up because I was constantly on airplanes. And no wonder I was having miscarriages. I mean, really. And so I remember a friend of mine called me one day, and I was literally in a car wash stuck. Like I couldn't go home because my mother-in-law was there, and I was crying because I had just had a miscarriage, and I didn't know where to go. And my friend called me and he said, "Hey, have you ever considered doing this work of transformation?" And I was like, "Oh my God, sign me up right now." Yes, I need to transform something in my life. Wow. And so that's how I ended up getting involved as a student a couple years ago. And what was really cool, and I'll close this, is that by the time I graduated from my leadership training, which is about 4 months long, I had realized that my 18-hour days were not only completely getting in the way of me becoming a mother, they were also killing me. I mean, I was not living life; I was fighting death. And I also learned that alcohol was really playing a pretty gnarly impact in my life. My marriage and relationship and my ability to become a mom. So I decided to live a life of sobriety, as did my husband. And within a month of making that decision, we were pregnant.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So my life has forever changed as a result of getting involved.
That is amazing. So we call these things as miracles, right? And actually miracles happen when we change something, especially within us. So that's amazing. That's amazing, Candace. Such a beautiful story, so powerful and inspiring. And you completed the leadership program, which is typically 4 months. And then there was more, right?
Yeah.
It goes on. So tell us more about it.
Yeah, well, I guess one thing I'll just say is something that's important for me to communicate. And when I went through as a student, and I talk to this about to students often, is I felt the need to clean my spiritual house. So, just like when you're doing spring cleaning in your house to make room for something new, when I was really wanting to be a mom and it was my top priority, I realized I haven't really created any space for a child in my life. I went working my crazy hours and, you know, going out to expensive dinners and drinking wine every night. Like there wasn't room for a child. And so I needed to clean house, since that's what I was able to do. And my life changed dramatically from that point forward. And so my husband and I were living in Los Angeles at the time. We decided to move to Boston to be with family because we were raising a child. And when we decided to move to Boston, I wanted to volunteer for a leadership academy that did the same thing that ALA, which is where I went in San Diego, that they did in San Diego. And there wasn't one. There wasn't anybody who did it in Boston. And so I said, well, if there isn't any center that does it, then I'll just create the center, you know, like.
Of course.
So yeah, so then I announced I was going to launch the center while I was 8 months pregnant. The website went live a week before my due date. And now we're a year and a half in. So, and so BBA is, you know, my gift back to Ivor, my son. So I felt like Ivor was the gift that was given to me as a result of being a student. And so now I'm building my entire life to make sure that he has everything that he needs to be supported and to grow into whoever he wants to be.
Oh, that's powerful. So how would this be a gift to Ivor? Can you tell more about that?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I went on to my PhD program, which is like a mastering leadership program after I was a student, and it was in LA. And I remember flying back and forth while I was breastfeeding, you know, leaving my son and thinking, oh my gosh, like, why am I doing this? You know, like I was a hot mess, like emotionally. And I was like, why am I leaving my son when he's 6 weeks old for a day? And then I realized I'm doing this for him, because I realized that, you know, growing up, I'm almost 40 years old. I turn 40 next month. And I had a lot of anger and resentment towards my parents from my childhood years that I learned about as I was going through my own leadership program. And that really held me back from fully living my life. And I thought, what if we could, as moms, as parents, what if we knew this in advance? We knew the impact of our words, we knew the impact of our actions in advance, and could be conscious about the way that we're raising our children. And so for me, staying in this work and really being conscious and aware and responsible is allowing Ivor to grow up without that resentment, without that shame and guilt that I grew up with. And I just think what's possible when you don't have that weight holding you down from childhood. So that's why, I mean, I'm doing this all for him, because I really want to be conscious as a mom, and I want to make sure that he has every possibility without me holding him back in some way.
Wow, that's true commitment to yourself and your son, your family. That's truly a commitment. I truly understand it, and I think we share that vision.
Girl. You live it, yeah.
Yeah, we share that vision. You know, there are definitely times it feels hard, it feels difficult, and this vision of doing this for children, I mean, that is my vision as well, transforming families and raising abundant children so they truly live in abundance, however it looks like to them. And yes, this work truly transforms generations and generations and generations. That is truly what I believe as well. And so Candace, first of all, I actually want to say this as well. This is shortly this story. I've done my training in 2019 in San Diego in hardcore leadership. And then I wanted to coach. Then I learned about BBA, and I coached at BBA's, volunteered at BBA's second class. And that was so inspiring. I experienced your vision, which so aligned with me, you know, family, creating families, transform families. And I also experienced what community means truly to make the world a better place. And that was truly an inspiration for me to declare that this is going to happen in the UK. And now we are virtually actually in different places in Europe. So
yeah, you're making it happen, which is so cool. You're like the next generation of leaders. It's so cool.
Yes, thank you. And what would you say to our audience who feel stuck in their lives as well? I mean, you described that maybe, you know, there are so many things happening in their lives, and, you know, maybe the life looks amazing from outside, but they feel within themselves something is missing, that they are stuck at some point, at somewhere in their lives. What would you say to them?
What I say often to the students that come through BBA is that what I experience, I can only speak from my own experience, and if this resonates, then awesome. But I was feeling like I was driving a car up a mountain, and that I was holding on to the steering wheel as tight as I could, to the point where my knuckles were white. You know, I was white knuckling on this drive up the mountain, and the harder I held on to the wheel, the less control I had over the car. So whether that was my job, you know, like that, the more controlling I was at work, the less control I had, or whether that was at home, you know, like in my home, we were drinking alcohol. And so like, the more that I tried to control things, the more things got out of control. And so a lot of people, as I talk to them, they're like, oh, I understand that feeling of like holding so tight on and then feeling like you're losing it, you know, feeling like you don't know where to go, and you don't know what to do. And what I would say is, it's a very simple fix. It's a very simple fix. It's all mindset. It's all a matter of interpretation. And so like what you and I do in these leadership training courses is not rocket science. And you know, what our trainers and what I will also say is like, we're not teaching anything you haven't learned before. We're simply teaching tools, like little tiny tools for tweaking interpretations. And those small interpretations can change your life. Like before I came into the training, my boss said, Candace, you're a machine. You know, you're hitting all your numbers, but no one likes you. By the time I graduated, he signed up for the training because he was so impressed. He promoted me and he put me forward in my company as what leadership looks like. And so I went from a task-oriented person to a relationship-oriented person, and it was just with a few small tweaks. And as a result of that, my husband and I stopped drinking. You know, like, I mean, like major changes happened, and it didn't take a lot of work. It didn't take a fix. I wasn't broken. It just took small tweaks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's powerful. So it's simple.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as we always say, it's simple when we actually see it as simple, right?
Yeah.
That is powerful. And before we wrap up, actually, is there anything else that you would like to say?
I think it's so important what's happening in this work of transformation for moms. And, you know, I think when I became a mom for a little while, I lost my identity. I forgot who I was. I couldn't remember what I wanted out of my life. And it went from me living my life for me to me living my life for my son. And what's been beautiful in this process for me is that I've learned how to regain my identity and create a wonderful life for my son. I'm not living my life for Ivor. I'm building a life for Ivor. And him seeing me live my fullest, you know, live to my fullest greatness, to my fullest strengths, is showing him how to do it himself. And so I just think it's so important for moms to be continuing their own education and to continue their own learning and their own growth, because moms, you deserve it. Like Evram and I, we deserve it. We deserve to have what we want in life, and our kids will thank us later.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Candace. Thank you. And I so resonate with that. And I'm sure many other moms, you know, we have moms watching resonate with it, that they're not always prepared to be a mom. Like, we don't know what it's going to be like, right? Mm-hmm. And this process, this journey brings oneness in my experience, that it's almost like coming back to home and bringing all the identities that we have to home and feel it as oneness. So that's powerful, Candace. Well, and our audience, thank you so much for being here. So my question to you is, well, what could be that little tweak in your life that could change your relationships, your career, well, your abundance, your health? So what is that little tweak that you see possible for? And I invite you to get in touch with us. Well, my email address is evrim@instituteofgloballeadership.com, and you can also search for Institute of Global Leadership on Facebook. And Candace, would you like to give your email address?
Yeah, my email address is candace@bostonbreakthroughacademy.com. So very simple. CANDCE. Yep.
All right. So we look forward to hearing from you. We are passionate about transforming families. All right. Thank you, Candace. Thank you, everyone. So I'll be with you with the next interview. Bye.